at all. And I went back and looked at my reviewed comments. Wow, man. Thing is, those people would never say anything like that to you in person. They gotta take it out here on social media. They gotta take out their pain and frustration. Okay. So we are live. I want to say thank you guys so much. Woo blank pig, says Antonio Cooksey. Indeed. Again, one last time, need you guys to like, comment. That's a habit. I'm sorry. Like the video, share the content, copy the URL up above, paste it somewhere, let them know. Tell your friends. We're in here. This guy that hosts PTN, Ty Zilli, he's actually live and he's talking to us. And of course, if you haven't already, feel free to tap the subscribe button down below. Welcome, everybody. First live show on the actual YouTube channel. I did have a couple other live episodes on Twitch, but I didn't do enough advertising for them at all. I didn't really advertise for this, to be completely honest. But I should have, but I didn't realize I was going to do this until, a few days ago. So you guys, I've already had a couple of you comment on the quarterback. Antonio Cooksey said a little bit ago, I think Kelly starts, no question. I have this ongoing, and I wish he was in here, but me and my dad have this ongoing bet about Cole Kelly. He can't stand Cole Kelly. He thinks he thought what he saw last year was garbage. He thought Cole Kelly a year ago was just not good. And I had to explain to him, look, again, sorry if you hear those kids in the background, house full of kids. I didn't know about it until just a little bit ago. But my wife owes me. That's all I'm going to say. I had to keep reminding him, look, he's a redshirt freshman. There's very, very rarely do you get a guy who's been on campus for a year or two and they don't have things they need to work on. Cole Kelly, first off, last year I thought the thing that he did that absolutely stunned me was his poise in the pocket. And I saw that again in this scrimmage. I saw it time and time again. He started in 4 games, played in 4.5 games. His poise in the pocket, and I think a lot of that's because of his height, it's because of his size, and it might be a little bit because of his cockiness. Let's be real. The guy, I think in the back of his head, he thinks he's 10 foot tall and bulletproof, and that's fine. I don't have a problem with the quarterback having that mindset at all. I would rather that than what we saw, and I'm not trying to throw shade at Austin Allen. I thought Austin Allen, with how bad that offensive line was, it is what it is, but Austin Allen, as soon as he was pressured, the guy would run around in circles like a chicken with his head cut off and would eventually either throw the ball away or throw an interception, throw it into double coverage. Cole Kelly stands in the pocket, and if he thinks it's not there, he just overthrows the ball or he'll throw it to the sidelines. But very rarely did you see him. You could tell that Cole Kelly didn't want to waste a down. He'd take off and run. He's not fast. That's the other thing. My dad calls him the turtle. Well, here's the thing. He wasn't recruited as a dual-threat quarterback. He's a pocket quarterback. And I've had that comment several times. Cole Kelly reminds me of Mallett. Well, it could be that he's 6'7" and he wears number 15. He's big. He's got a strong arm like Ryan Mallett. I think Mallett still has – I thought the thing that Mallett possessed that Cole Kelly just doesn't have yet is just, the awareness of the offense, and the playbook. And obviously he had Bobby Petrino as a head coach. That also helps quite a bit. He was also a 5-star out of Texarkana, ended up going to Michigan, then obviously transferred. No comparison to Mallett, really. Again, 6'7", strong arm, wears number 15, But I think Cole Kelly's a little bit more, and this is what's strange, I think his ability to move in and out of the pocket is way better than Mallett's. Mallett was stone-footed. But Mallett's arm talent is on another level. I mean, it just was. There's no doubt. His ability to throw the ball deep and accurately there wasn't really a throw that he couldn't hit. Cole Kelly, on the other hand, he's learning now. He's learning a new offense. The second offense in 3 years for him. He's arm talent, I don't think it's anywhere near Mallett's, but I think he has potential to be pretty good. I think if he could command this offense, again, Chad Morris said, what was it, last week or week before last, that they only got about 25% of the playbook installed on offense. I don't know where they're at on defense. But I feel like to me, it's Cole Kelly's job to lose. I'll just put it out there like that. It is Cole Kelly's job to lose. Ty Story today. And again, the last 2 scrimmages, I don't know if you guys watched those videos. I talked about those 2 scrimmages. Ty Story was not. It didn't look well. The last scrimmage, he was 9 of 21 for like 87 yards. He did throw a touchdown to one of the tight ends, but he's not in a scrimmage setting, which is the closest thing you're going to get to live action, to regular season football. It's the closest thing you're going to get. He's not looked good. And today, in front of, I don't know how many people were there at Little Rock, it looked like 12,000, maybe 15. The weather and everything. There's a lot going on in Central Arkansas today, but kind of was hoping there'd be north of 20, 25,000 fans there. But, is what it is. But in front of, cameras, ESPN was there, in front of, the fans and his teammates. Once again, Ty Story just did not. I don't know. I just wasn't impressed. Let's see. Cole, I think both quarterbacks missed some easy throws, but for the most part, the wide receivers dropped some very catchable passes. I could not agree more. There were a lot of drops. I counted, me and my friend, my boy Duke was here. I don't know if he was doing it, but in my mind, I was counting. I swear, I think I counted about 5 drops. Again, weather, it's only their third scrimmage, new offense. There's a lot going on upstairs for these guys. And it's kind of a you get it situation, but if they don't overcome those drops, if they don't improve catching these footballs, and again, Cole Kelly probably throws pretty hard. Cole Kelly in his first scrimmage threw, what was it, something like 16 of 20, and 3 of his incompletions were drops. 2 of them, I can't remember who they were. I think Deion Stewart and Jordan Jones had a drop, and one of the tight ends maybe. But they got to overcome the drops. I couldn't agree more. Am I pronouncing that right? Cutizi? Cutizi? 6501. Steven Rogers says, to me, Tyler Wilson was more dependable than quarterback Mallett. Dependable, yes. Talent, no. He was nowhere near the talent Ryan Mallett was. He was, he commanded the offense. Sometimes when you're in an offense like what Petrino had and what he ran, it's and if you have good enough arm talent and you've got players around you that are pretty good, you can kind of mask some things. Tyler Wilson was a good quarterback. He was, but I don't think he was near Ryan Mallett. Xavier Woods is a grown man, though. Young Des Bryant. Steven Rogers says defense will set the tone for the whole team. Nothing more motivating to an offense than a defense that does their job. Laugh out loud. QTZ, like young Jeezy, except with a T. All right, okay. I'll just call you 501. How about that area code? Yeah, drops were something I did notice. Again, you look at the weather. Again, weather, new offense. You're finally in front of a crowd, and you can kind of get that. But again, they can't let that carry over into summer and fall workouts. And obviously, when you get into fall camp, 2-a-days and things like that, hopefully they'll work on that. I don't know, it's like they really didn't show much, and they never do. Nutt never did, whatever you want to call what he ran when he was here. Petrino didn't. Brett Bielema didn't. No coach ever shows their hand in a scrimmage, and I'm glad that they don't. Special teams, huge letdown. Yeah. I saw them miss a couple field goals. I thought the punts were, I don't know. It looked like they were trying to punt inside the 10, and they just couldn't do it. A couple of times. I know field goals. I think they missed 2 out of I don't know how many. 2. I know they missed at least 2. Special teams was a problem off and on last year, and obviously as they've made the switch at kicker, they got better. But I hope to God special teams is not another letdown, because again, how many times under Brett Bielema did you say to yourself, all we got to do is hit this 35-yard field goal and we can wrap things up, and couldn't do it. It happened, seemed like quite a bit. Kickoff pretty good in the end zone, says Antonio. Defense. I don't know about you guys, but I kind of walked away thinking the defense looked better than the offense did. I know, and I say this every time I talk about a scrimmage, every time I talk about a scrimmage. You can't take a whole lot away because this defense knew damn well what this offense was going to run. They've already seen 2 scrimmages. They play against these guys. Hell, they're roommates with these guys, some of them. They know what they're in for. So it's easy to say that the defense kind of read the offense like an open book. But I got to say, the hustle was there. They never, at any point, did they ever look lost, out of position. You didn't see anyone kind of freaking out and someone getting caught out of position. Now, is that maybe a lack of the quarterback catching on to maybe the defense being confused? Or, I think a lot of what it was is the defense looked prepared. And I'll tell you something else. They got pressure without Sosa Agim, who was out because he was at a funeral, without a couple of guys on defense. Who's the other guy? Another defensive lineman. Oh my gosh. Someone help me out. They're missing another defensive lineman. It's going to drive me crazy. But anyways, they're missing 2 guys. That's depth-wise. I mean, it's 2 guys. Both of them started. Both of them played. Austin Capps. There it is. Capps. Thank you. 501. I like the new Hyatt quarterback. He looked better than Kelly or Story. A lot of those drop passes were good hand fighting. They were. And a lot of those drop passes, they were. I mean, it was great coverage by the corners. I thought Ryan Pulley and Curl, anytime the ball was thrown on who they were guard or who they were defending, it was not an easy open pass. It wasn't a scenario where the receiver just had to turn and look the right way. They were covered no matter what they tried to do. Pulley did get hit with a PI, and it definitely was a PI. He had the arm, kind of around the waist. He had his middle finger almost on the belly button of who was defending. I don't remember who was defending. It might have been Woods or Petway. But I thought the defense overall looked good. They got pressure, like I said, without Capps, without Sosa Agim. They're able to get some pressure. Randy Ramsey, 2 sacks, 2 other tackles for loss. I think he ended up with 6, 7 tackles, again, with those 2 sacks. He pressured the quarterback. Ramsey, and I kind of thought last year when they went to that 3-4, I thought, okay, he's going to be difficult to block in that 3-4. But as the year went on, they didn't have the talent on the defensive line. I'm sorry. I think Sosa Agim did not belong in that defensive line in the 3-4 setting. He just didn't. He's not a 3. That's just not his position. Get someone next to him. I think he's going to be a beast in the 4-3. Whatever they run, whatever scheme they run, as long as they have 4 guys on that defensive line, Sosa Agim is going to be a matchup nightmare man to man. But you put him in a position where he's got to split double block or getting double blocked, and you have to have talent on the defensive line, especially in the middle, if you're going to allow these guys on the outside to do their thing. Because then you don't have to worry about those guys on the interior. You have to worry about the guys on the outside. You have to worry about someone like Randy Ramsey with that athleticism that he has. So I think he's going to do better in this defense. I like that they moved him back to the defensive line. And we're going to have to wait and see. Some of it, I think that there's always this preseason hype around him. Every year it's like, oh, he's going to be a monster. He's going to be great. And then he never really comes through. Obviously, he had to come back to the team because he left or was kicked off, and then he had to come back. There was some of that off the field drama going on. But I don't know. I feel like if they're good, if they could get things settled on the defensive line, Ramsey could be a real problem. And again, it's a scrimmage. I could sit here and tell you that, they're going to be way better than they were last year. Again, it's a scrimmage. We don't know. But I feel like with Chavis, he understands that pressure is the name of the game, and he gets that. And I like that about him a whole lot. Multiple 4-3-3-2. Yeah, they're going to run multiple. I think they're going to run a lot of multiple. You're going to see they ran a package, and I didn't see him do it. Maybe I missed it. They ran a package in their second scrimmage where it was kind of like it was 3 down linemen, 2 linebackers, and then 6 DBs, where you had 3 corners and 3 safeties. And one of the safeties would kind of come down and play the wolf. Tony Bua, I don't know if you guys remember Tony Bua or not, but in his defense, I don't remember who the defense coordinator was at the time, but he would kind of come down and play that wolf position. I think they experimented with Kenny Hamlin coming down and kind of playing closer to the front 7. Just to kind of with run support, but they may do a little bit of that. I think we're going to see multiple schemes from the defense, but they're going to be a forefront primarily, but you're going to see them kind of transition a little bit to a different front seven setting than just a 4-3. That's going to be interesting to see. If you get pressure, if you get pressure, you don't make your corners, safeties have to cover the whole field. Yeah, that's true. I really like the competition we'll have at quarterback. Now, someone said something about Dalton Hyatt. Where was that? Someone said something about yeah. Mr. Gabriel Sharp says I like the new Hyatt quarterback. He looked better than Kelly or Story. Well, you got to remember he was running, I think, with the threes against the threes, and I kind of feel like with how much good depth they have on offense, I had a feeling that the threes and everybody behind Ty Story and Cole Kelly would look good because of the quality depth they have at running back, tight end, and wide receiver. The depth on offense is far superior to that on defense. So I had a feeling that Dalton Hyatt would probably look pretty good. He is, without a doubt, the most athletic of the bunch. Dalton Hyatt is, without a doubt, the most athletic. He's the fastest. He likes to roll out. He likes to try to throw on the run. I think he ran a similar offense, something similar to this in high school in Alabama. I don't remember his offer list. I ought to pull that up. But I think he had a couple of decent offers. But I had a feeling he would look the best. And everybody, I've seen it already on Twitter. I've seen it on social media. Dalton Hyatt should be the starter. Dalton Hyatt should be whatever. Again, let's see him. I'd like to have seen him work with the ones against the ones. I would like to see what he would do then. You can't, there's no denying his natural athleticism, his speed. I thought he planted his foot. He had good throwing technique. He has decent arm strength. He was I think on ESPN, he was like a 4-star, top 12 quarterback. I don't remember if he was listed as a dual threat or as a pro style, probably a pro style, but he's got the athleticism thing down. He likes to run, and that obviously could offer a little bit more in this offense than Cole Kelly or Ty Story. But I don't know how much he knows of this playbook. I don't know that he's caught on to the playbook like Cole Kelly or Ty Story. So we're going to have to see. But I do like Dalton Hyatt, and I've kind of, every time people start, they get lost in the conversation about just Ty Story and Cole Kelly, I'm like, well, don't forget, you've got Dalton Hyatt, and then you've got an incoming freshman by the name of, if he doesn't go to pro baseball, if he doesn't get drafted, Connor Nolan. Don't forget about him. He's not going to come in and steal the job from anybody as a true freshman. I just don't see that happening. I mean, take that with a grain of salt, but I think eventually Connor Nolan, sheer talent, considering where he's coming from, a place that seems to put out a lot of pretty decent SEC talent, he could end up being something special at Arkansas. Our defense looked way better than last year's. Running back deep, I couldn't agree more. I mean, I thought the running backs looked good. Let me get caught up on the comments. I'm glad he let all the quarterbacks play. Bielema would never have done that. Antonio says O-line looks better, but I'm still waiting to see, right? I mean, it's always hard. A scrimmage is really challenging to get anything from line of scrimmage play unless the defensive line just looks lights out and they, play lights out. It's a little bit of a challenge, to kind of say, well, I mean, this guy looked good. There's no doubt Froholt's going to be a monster. Dalton had offers from Arkansas State, Illinois, Louisville, and Florida Atlantic. Okay. Gabriel Sharp. So, bottom line, what record do you expect to see us earn next year? We'll get to that in a second. You think Stephen Jones has a chance to get some play at quarterback? That's a good question. He pardon me. The beauty of going live. I'm waiting on one of my daughters to just come running in this room. I got the door shut, but I didn't lock it. That's a good question. I don't know. If you've seen his video when he led them back to their state title, what was he, 5A, 4A in Texas? He led that team back and won. And look, that's Texas State football. Downside, he's like 5'8". I mean, not really, but he's not real big. But the kid plays with heart. I mean, look, his DNA runs deep with the Razorbacks. It's kind of hard to say, he's just not going to make it. A part of me wants to be like, look, you never know. His old man was an undersized offensive lineman. when he played at Arkansas. But then again, everybody was undersized in the 1960s. But when you compare him to today's, but we'll have to wait and see on him. I really, the realistic side of me says wait and see, but probably not. When you've got the talent, I think they've got pretty good talent at quarterback and they've got depth. If guys transfer out, we'll have to wait and see. He could transfer out after a couple of years. We'll have to wait and see. Again, for those of you who just kind of came into the room, we started out with about 10 or 12 and we've grown to almost 30. Remember to like the video. I'm on the fence as far as cutting this up and throwing it up live. Again, I kind of like to script things out. I just want to do this because we've never done this, at least on YouTube. And I just kind of wanted to, I don't know, it's cool, right? It's neat. It's interesting. I'm live. You never see that. We get to talk live, and I kind of wanted to see where this would go. But remember to like, share the content, let people know where you're at. Copy the link, post it, Facebook, Twitter, social media, Reddit. I don't care. Anywhere, however, wherever. I got to work tonight. That sucks. Let's see. What do you think of the linebacker besides Greenlaw and Scuda? Oh, that's jury's out on that. I don't know. Linebacker play. I mean, that is an area too. I talked about that in the last. I think I mentioned it in the last recruiting video I did. They need to recruit line of scrimmage, right? Offensive line, they need to add 5-6 guys to this class. Defensive line, they need to add interior. They need to add at least 3 or 4 defensive tackles at least. But the other position I would note, if I left them out, and I probably did, is linebacker. And they said it best. I don't know that you're going to get anybody that's here now, that's been here since the Bielema era, if you're going to make them faster. You can shed weight. You could shed 10, 15 pounds, but then the question is, are you big enough to play in the SEC West? You have to, what's Morris is saying, you have to recruit speed instead of chasing it or whatever. I mean, that couldn't be there's no other way to put it than that. They got to recruit some more speed. You're not going to make the guys that are here now faster. The starting linebackers, Scuda and Greenlaw, I think, are all conference worthy players. There's no doubt in my mind. Those two guys are going to be the leaders on this defense, along with Santos Ramirez, Ryan Pulley. Again, that secondary play, I don't know if you guys are here. All of you were here. That secondary play today I thought was pretty good. I mean, these quarterbacks would deliver some pretty on-the-money throws, and the corners were right there. It seemed like 90% of the throws were challenged by the corners, matched up with their receivers. And another receiver I thought looked really good and looked reliable. Something else I brought up is there's somebody that's going to show out that could be a reliable target, and that person did. And I'll talk about him in just a minute. Let's see. Where were we? Wow. A lot of comments. I'm loving it. Okay. Cooksey with the linebacker question. He also says, you put up those numbers in 6A Texas football means something. I agree. Talking about Jones. Steven Rogers, if O-line can block anything, Kelly will be the number one. I agree. If not, he will get broken half. But you think so? Broken half? 6'7", 250 pounds. Did you see him run over Alabama defensive line? Well, I mean, not the defensive lineman, but he definitely ran over a couple of their corners and safeties. I don't know about breaking him in half, but they are gonna tear him up. You're right about that. Let's see. The Mr. Razorback. How you doing? Who's going to be our starting halfback this year? And do you think Hammonds might move to wide receiver? That's a really good question because I really thought he'd get more carries today at running back. I think he had, and this is why I wanted to wait an hour after, because I wanted to see stats. I really wanted to see stats. I wanted to see just kind of the generalization of what everybody was saying on social media, and I got a little bit of that, but I wanted to see some stats because I don't know how many carries he had. I want to say he had about 7, and he didn't look good at running back. Now, I know last year he had those moments where he just flew up the middle and he 40, 50 yards for a touchdown, had games where he was just a baller. I wonder if some of that's just because there's no film on him. There's no film on TJ Hammonds. How do you prepare for someone when you don't have film on him? And he came in and, they were able to use his speed and he had moments where he looked really good. And then, again, it's a scrimmage. I got to keep saying that. He didn't look good. And again, I don't know if some of that, I know one of them where they turned around and I think it was Ty Story kind of messed the play up. He took the wrong step. and he had to turn around and hand the ball to TJ Hammonds. It's hard to fault him on that because that was a busted play. But I just wasn't really blown away by TJ Hammonds. I was really impressed with Malik Williams. Malik Williams, I think if you were to ask me right now, based on what I've seen and what I've read, Malik Williams and Devwall Whaley have got to be in your rotation as your number 1 and number 2 running backs. Malik Williams, one of the most popular tackles you like to see linebackers do, they like to try to swing the running back around and throw him to the turf. They couldn't do that with Devwall or Malik today. And I'm talking Scooter Harris, Dre Greenlaw. I think there's a play. TJ Smith got his hand on Devwall and tried to swing him down. He couldn't do it. They looked good. Last year, I couldn't believe how bad Devwall Whaley was in conference play. Last year, Devwall Whaley, the first 5 conference games, or maybe it was the first 6, he averaged like 2.5, almost 3 yards a carry. It was atrocious. You go back to his freshman year, he looked like he was going to be a potential all-conference running back last year. And again, you have to, yes, the offensive line was bad. I get it. But if he can continue on the path or kind of go back to where he left off his freshman year, Devwall Whaley is going to be good. And I think Malik Williams, you're going to want to keep an eye on him. I mean, Malik looks like it sounds like he was in on a lot of plays in both those scrimmages. It sounds like he gets the playbook where they're at currently. He's right there with them. So we'll have to wait and see there as far as the running backs. But yeah, Devwall Whaley and Malik are my 2 guys right now that I have been the most impressed with as far as, again, what I've seen and what I've read. I really need to start highlighting where I left off. Let's see who's going to be starting. Blah 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 blah. Yeah, and again, Hammonds. I do think they need to figure something out with him. They need to utilize his speed, and this seems better since it's on the weekend for those of us who have to work long work day. Yeah, right. I agree, Mr. Sharp. D. Walker should provide some depth at linebacker. Yeah, I agree. And he had moments too where I thought, it seemed like you're seeing his number around a lot of plays. Do you think Curl will be a good fit as the other safety? Yes. I've only heard good things. Dudley Dawson, Clay Henry have had nothing but positive things. Now, again, people like to call them sunshine pumpers, and I try to listen to everybody. All local media is sunshine pumpers, okay? I've been accused of being a sunshine pumper. I'll say I think he could be potentially a really good safety. I don't know that this year he's going to shine. Don't expect him to come into a new position and be a baller, but it seems like his natural fit is at that safety position. Lucas Shepard, and thanks for the question, CJ. Lucas Shepard, how do you think our secondary will do? I think, again, look at who the secondary coach was before in Paul Rhodes, who's known for reshaping defenses. Then he took over as the defense coordinator. He helped shape, and I always talk about laying the foundation. I think Paul Rhodes laid the foundation in the secondary, and I think they're going to be a lot better, assuming they stay healthy. Remember last year they lost Pooley after the TCU game. They lost Pooley, and they had to recoup, and they had to rely on Curl, who I was surprised at how good he was the first half of the season. I mean, he was really good. Obviously, he didn't close out on a strong note, but Paul Rhodes did the most with what he had, turned Pooley into a legit all-conference caliber corner. Helped recruit Chevin Callaway. There's a couple other guys that I can't remember. The other Texas kid, brought in Curl. Knew that he had some gaps to fill, and he did the best that he could, and he laid a pretty healthy foundation. Yes, I think the secondary will be eventually good, but you cannot, like last year, really the last 2 years, you cannot rely on the secondary to defend the length of the field if you're not getting pressure. And that's been such a problem with this team. They've been bottom 2 years in a row in quarterback pressure and in sacks. So it's easy to pick on the secondary when your defensive line isn't getting any pressure or forcing the quarterback out of his comfort zone. When you're unable to do those things up front with your front 7, if you're not applying pressure, and if you don't have the guts to blitz, if you don't have the guts to add pressure on the quarterback, and you put everything on your corners, they're going to give some plays up. I think with this staff on defense, with Chavis, you're going to see a lot more pressure. And I think what's going to happen, you're going to see more takeaways. You're going to see more INTs and fumbles. The secondary is going to have their moment to shine. Santos Ramirez, I think, who's been a takeaway machine, I think could be in for a big year. Somebody in the secondary is going to benefit, but I think the entire secondary is going to be pretty good. Geez, dude, who are you? A scrimmage, you think? Oh, Ronnie, you're a heckler. I also really like the no huddle look. Yeah, high tempo is it's such a drastic turnaround. It's a complete 180 compared to what we've seen for the last 6 years, or well, I mean, under the Brett Bielema era. I think Whaley gained too much weight last year and lost some of his explosion. He did. He lost some weight and he looks a little bit faster. I think they said he dropped about 8 or 12 pounds, something like that. And he does look a little bit faster. And that's the thing too. This entire team lost weight. Everybody is down in weight. Everybody. The average lineman size is like 305 or something. I think is what they were talking about. Do you think we will score in the 40s and 50s against any legit SEC West D? Well, that's gonna. On average, no. Maybe they might find someone sleeping. We'll have to wait and see. You just never know what you're in for, and especially when you're going from such a drastic change in offensive philosophy, it's hard to say. Jerome, whatever you said apparently was a no-no word. What'd you say, Jerome? What did you think of pressure today? I thought they got again, defense probably didn't show their hand. It didn't look like they blitzed the linebackers a whole lot. And again, I thought the front four did a pretty good job of getting pressure. Randy Ramsey. And you got to remember, again, they were without Caps. They were without Sosa Agim. So when you talk depth-wise, they didn't have it, and they still were able to get some pressure. Let's see. Lucas Shepard says, thank you, Cooksy, for the comment. I wasn't able to watch the game, but how was Sosa out there as in pressure? He didn't dress out. He was at a funeral. Heath Coker, I just like the breath of fresh air. We really get any word. I'm so excited to see what we can evolve. Yeah, I agree. I don't think we have a quarterback yet. I don't either. I mean, when you lose a fifth-year senior, and really the only guy that got any time to play was against, some pretty good teams in the SEC West, and they didn't look that great. It's really easy to pick them apart. It's really easy to say, well, that wasn't exactly Tyler Wilson against Auburn performance out of Cole Kelly. I think a lot of it was, offensive line play, new receivers last year. You lost Keon Hatcher and Drew Morgan. They end Sprinkle. They lost a lot of their offensive production, and it was really hard for anybody to blossom. If you look at Austin Allen's numbers compared to Cole Kelly's, they look pretty darn similar. I mean, nobody was going to shine last year. I don't even think had Austin Allen played all 12 games, I think you might have won one more game, maybe two, and I don't think he would have even thrown north of maybe about 2,500 yards. It's amazing that Cole Kelly did what he did at all. He's got a lot of things to work on. I think eventually Cole Kelly could be something pretty good. What do you think we need to improve on after the scrimmage? That's a really good question. Well, I still think the offensive line needs work. There needs to be somebody else. I want to see someone else step up because Petway can't do it by himself. Petway was the guy earlier I was talking about who seemed to be that guy you could rely on. Cole Kelly and Ty Story both like throwing the ball to him. I want to see someone else step up. Special teams, special teams at the end of last year sort of had their moments where they looked okay, especially when they made the change at kicker. But it looked like in this scrimmage, punter and the punter and the kicker don't look that well. Again, it's just hard to say from a scrimmage. It really is. We don't really know what we have until week 6. Ask me week 6, what do you think we ought to improve on? And I'll tell you then. It's really hard after a scrimmage, but offensive line does need work. I mean, obviously you need some more quality depth at linebacker. I am concerned. After someone brought up, after Greenlaw and Scooter Harris, what do you have? You don't have much. D. Walker, maybe, might be something good. You need someone on defense to stand out in that front seven. And I know Scooter Harris did last year for the most part, but he's going to need some help for sure. I mean, these guys, they're going to have to play well as a unit. They're going to have to communicate, get it figured out. I do think because of the experience, because you have Greenlaw, Scooter Harris, hopefully Ryan Pulley's healthy all year, Chevin Callaway, who also had a couple of moments where he looked pretty good. Because of Sosa Game and the experience that some of these guys have coming back, I think they're going to be better. And obviously, John Chavis is your defense coordinator. I do think they're going to finish overall a little bit better than they were the last 2 years. It wouldn't surprise me at all to see them finish somewhere maybe top 8 total defense. I think that's not based on what I've seen. That's just based on, the schedule. I think overall is easier than what they've had to deal with. You look at their first 3 games. I mean, your hardest opponent's on the road against Colorado State. Obviously, you got to play in the West. You're going to play Bama and Auburn and LSU, and Mississippi State's still going to be a challenge. Ole Miss is still going to be okay, but you've got Vanderbilt as your SEC East opponent. LSU, I don't know if you guys saw this or not. LSU, according to the Football Power Index, is projected at 6-6. Now they'll finish better than 6-6, but that kind of tells you there's not a whole lot of confidence in what LSU's ceiling is for next year. And I'm not saying they're going to win that game, but that makes you wonder if maybe Arkansas, maybe it won't be such a big challenge or an uphill climb. Where do we leave off at? What do you think? Need to improve. I'm shocked. I'm shocked that Will Gregg in this offense is not thriving. I thought his athleticism would be a plus for him, right? Will Gregg has been the biggest mystery since he got on campus. I remember when he committed, it was such a big deal. We all thought, oh my God, it's another Gregg. We know what the first one did for us. See what Arkansas does with this one. I think he's listed like 4th string. I mean, that's terrible. This guy's been around, I mean, and he had a couple of moments. I think he's had a couple of decent moments in spring practice. I'm not really sure. I need to read more on what they've said about him, Danny West and Trey Biddy and Otis Kirk, or maybe I should just call in and ask Dudley. I don't know. But he's been the biggest mystery since he got on campus. Still have all summer to work at fall camp. These quarterbacks will look much better in August. I agree that they should have more of the playbook down, and they ought to be better. But again, when they get into the regular season, we'll have to wait and see. Will Woods start by at least the end of the year? I don't know about starting. I don't know, because a lot of that's going to depend on Jordan Jones has been a big mystery. It's going to depend on Stewart. Jared Cornelius, is he going to come back and be healthy? Brandon Martin, is he going to come back and be healthy? And Petway, does he continue to look good? Or is he just a scrimmage hero? It's going to depend on those guys. Robert Woods did catch some passes. I think he rotated with the ones a couple of times. Woods, as I think of all these receivers, he could have the highest ceiling of the bunch between him and maybe Jonathan Nance or Brandon Martin. I haven't seen much out of Martin, but we have seen a little bit out of Nance, so we'll have to wait and see. It would be nice to have an O-line again. Tell me about it. I'm a big fan of our OC after that play calling segment they had with him. Yeah, that was pretty cool, wasn't it? Craddock could be, I don't know, he could be something special as an offense coordinator. I hope that he's here long enough to help them build the foundation on offense. He's obviously, we know what he can do recruiting wise, and we know what he can do. I think he's going to be a pretty good offense coordinator after it's all said and done. I hope he's here for a while. We'll have to, again, we'll just we'll have to wait it out. But I hope he's here for at least 2-3 years. What about Hayden Henry? Isn't he the linebacker and improving? Yeah, I mean he had a pretty good hit. I think it was him that had that hard hit on who was it? Duvall Whaley. Someone, Clint Sterner, or someone retweeted a video of that contact he made. I think in this defense he'll play. I just don't think he's anything great. I think he's someone who'll fill a gap until someone takes it from him as a backup. I think he's the number 2. Did they move him? I think he's the number 2 or number 3 inside linebacker. He has improved. Him and Morgan both, I think, have improved a little bit. Let's see. Maybe Bumper Pool and Andrew will be salty. Bumper Pool, 4-star, top. Was he like a top 10 linebacker in the state of Texas? Bumper Pool could be something special. I saw him out there a little bit today. I was kind of hoping to see him move up with, maybe with the 2s. Maybe get some reps in with the 2s, but it looked like he worked mostly with the freshmen, with the rest of the freshmen. Any questions, let me know. But again, I think the guy, if I had to circle 3 guys on offense, I don't know about defense. That's going to be tough. 3 guys on offense. And I only say that about the defense because I thought they all looked good. I thought it seemed like the play calling was there. I mean, I don't have to say it again, but I will. Scrimmage. But as a unit, they all looked good. They swarmed to the football. They were physical. I didn't see any missed tackles. And, again, sometimes they blow the whistle early. Dalton Hyatt, who everyone's talking about lately, you got to remember, they're not going to let defenders make full contact with him, right? He's going to look way more athletic and faster than he really is. If this was full speed, full contact, playing through the whistle, it'd be a little bit different story, right? I don't think fans would walk away, and if he had worked against the ones, but I was impressed with Dalton overall. But this defense swarmed; they look good. But if I had to circle 3 guys on offense, the running backs as a unit, I thought looked good. So we'll circle them as one because I don't want to say, both Whaley and Malik Williams. That's already 2 gone, right? The running backs overall look good. Hayden had one decent run. TJ Hammonds is really the only back I saw that just, I don't know. I don't know if he just was lost. I know one of those plays that he ran on was busted. Even the fullback got several carries that looked pretty good. But both the running backs, the 2 that I think should start, Devwal Whaley and Malik Williams, looked really good. And CJ O'Grady caught, I think he had, was it 2 passes? Both of them were touchdowns. He has continued every spring practice. I think he's had at least a handful of catches and a touchdown. He has, and he was afraid. I read a column that he was worried about this offense coming in and what role tight ends would play in this offense. Tight ends are showing out, and I thought he looked pretty good. Both those catches he made were impressive. So, running back unit, I may have to go with 4. I may have to go with 4 players here. Running back unit between Devwal Whaley and Malik. CJ or Cheyenne O'Grady. I got it. His sister got on to me on social media because I forgot the O Grady. I forgot the O in front of Grady his freshman year when they recruited him. Funny story. But him and then Petway. I was impressed with Petway. It seems like he didn't drop a single throw. There was a couple times we had to kind of adjust to the ball, and he did. And you got to remember, this is a guy that's 6'2.5". I think last year he was listed at like 225. I don't know how big he is this year, but I thought he caught everything thrown at him. They said he ran clean routes. That's hard to, when you don't know his route tree, it's hard to say how well he ran it, but he looked like he knew what he was doing, play in and play out. I think he looked good. And I got to be honest, I know someone said that none of the quarterbacks look good, but I thought Cole Kelly of the bunch looked like the man for the job. He looked like it's his job to lose. Again, like someone said earlier, we got a long ways to go. We still got summer and fall, and we'll have to wait and see. I'm not saying Cole Kelly was great, but he definitely looked like it's what I wanted to see out of a quarterback. I think him and Ty Story actually had very similar numbers, but Cole Kelly just looked smoother. He looked way more comfortable. I will say that when he runs out of the pocket and tries to throw on the run, that worries me. Him and Ty Story both do not look good. At least today, they don't look good trying to throw on the run. He's got to work on his footwork. Arm mechanics not bad. Obviously, I think he's got a pretty strong arm. I think he's got a higher ceiling than any of the quarterbacks there right now on campus. I think he's the man for the job. Defensively, it's kind of hard to say. Obviously, Randy Ramsey looked really good, getting pressure on the backfield. Chevin Callaway had a couple of pass breakups. I think there was one play the receiver caught the ball, but I mean he was all over the guy. It's impressive, and I think it was actually one of Woods' catches, one of the passes that he caught, the freshman out of Texas who committed after Morris took the job. I think it was one of those plays, and Chevin Callaway was all over him. The pass was completed because it was a beautiful throw and a nice catch, but like every throw towards Chevin was, it was a hard. The receiver had to make adjustments and had to make a good play on the ball. Ryan Pooley, Cameron Curl, all those guys. I thought the entire secondary looked good. It's hard to say. I saw D Walker around the ball quite a bit for the linebackers. I think Jamario Bell got in the mix quite a bit. Who was it that had the forced fumble? Was it TJ Smith? Someone help me out. Someone had the forced fumble, and I think maybe TJ Smith recovered the fumble and almost scored. Let me read comments really quick. Let's see. Antonio, if the process, no way we get his brother, he gets a free Scully. I'm surprised that we don't have more athletes. It doesn't seem like we lost all that much after Bielema left, or are they just not built for this style? Well, you got to remember, Nick. I mean, this is different than what they ran. What Chad Morris walked into was an offense and a scheme built for like a semi truck, right? And Chad Morris is trying to turn him into a Ferrari. So you're not going to. The only way of getting faster is losing weight. These guys weren't built to go, down set hut, throw, whatever happens, next play, no huddle, line up, do it again. He's having to develop those guys, right? He's having to develop them into the Ferrari from out of a full size F-350, right? Out of a big old diesel truck. They're trying to turn this into a Ferrari. It's not easy to do. And it's only spring. They've only got 25% of the offense installed, or at least that's what we were told 2 weeks ago. You got to give it time. And I'm telling you, I'm going to tell you where I think they go after this scrimmage. Now, my opinion will change, but where I think they can win, how many games they can win next year. Having Chavis at DC, I don't know if we should be concerned about the depth at linebacker, especially with the ceilings they all have. Well, I mean, they're not real deep at linebacker. And when you've got a walk-on in your rotation, need to be a little concerned. I think they have 2 walk-ons, if I'm not mistaken, at linebacker. You think we'll have a close Bama game like Bielema's first or second year when we lost by 1? No, I don't. I don't think it'll be close with them or Auburn, to be honest. If you're asking my honest opinion, I don't. Who knows? A lot can happen between now and then. I really think that we will win over Colorado State. We'll win big over Colorado State because I have seen Colorado State. I live in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Been to Albuquerque, beautiful. Went to a really fancy Mexican restaurant in Albuquerque on our way to Las Vegas. Loved it. The Lobos gave Colorado State a run for their money. Arkansas will win. They should win. Bell, I don't know what you're talking about. You're talking about the strip. Was it Bell who had the strip fumble? Hayden has to keep his Scully so we can get his brother. Laugh out loud. Otherwise, he would be processed. My glasses broke and I cannot read the screen. I have prescription glasses. I was getting out of my car and somehow the guy next to me parked so close. I'm a big guy. Look, I'm 6'3", and let's just say more to love. And it's hard for me to get out of my little Kia. And I open the door and I'm like getting out and I headbutt my door and I separated my glasses. So I can't, it's hard to read chat. And if you ever see me when I'm reading your comments, I made that video a little while back and I'm like having to do this. I know you can you could blow the screen up, but I can't do it here for some reason. Yeah, Henry, we need to get Hudson Henry. There's no doubt about that. Hudson Henry, I hope, because I think he was at the game, I hope that he liked what he saw out of the tight ends because they have a big role to play in this offense. Second hardest position to play in this offense, according to Chad Morris. Did the team look more fit than in previous years when they couldn't finish the fourth quarter? Let me tell you something, Jerome. That's a really good point. I was actually talking about that with my good buddy Duke here just a little bit ago. I mean, think of the A&M game. Think of the games they lost in the fourth quarter under Brett Bielema. They lost a lot of them, or just the second half. Virginia Tech, Mizzou. You can't. It's hard to say that they're going to be, that they're going to play 4 quarters of football when again they don't even have the entire playbook installed. Do I think they're going to be? They've lost weight. I thought the defense looked faster. I don't know about you guys. I thought the defense overall looked faster. Man, I'm allergies. Ozark Mountain weather. You're going to love it. Look at us going in on an hour. I wasn't sure if we were going to make it 30 or 45 minutes. We're closing in on an hour. How about that? I know this is old news, but why do you think the Bohannon kid chose Baylor over Arkansas when he said he loved the Razorbacks? Well, let me tell you why. And this was actually I think this is beyond speculation. This is according to a couple of people who are recruiting. Let's just say they work in the world of recruiting. He wanted to be the only quarterback recruited in that 2018 class. He did not want to compete with it. Now, again, that was at first was a rumor before he even thought about coming to Arkansas. And then there were a couple other people who were in the world of recruiting who more or less and came out and said exactly that. I'm not going to say their names, but they said that he did not when Connor Nolan, had Connor Nolan not been committed, he would have come to Arkansas. Now, you look at Baylor's class, I think he is the only quarterback in that class. He wanted to be the only quarterback in that 2018 class. It is a shame because I think he could. I mean, it's crazy because I think, considering his skill set, he probably could have worked out well in this offense, but it is what it is. Baylor, ever since Art Briles and everything that happened there, that's a tough situation to walk into. I don't know why anybody would consider Ole Miss or going to Baylor. Ole Miss, you get it because Ole Miss has NCAA. I mean, they're screwed. But Baylor, it's more of a winning mindset. How many games did they win a year ago? They were awful, and I don't think it's going to get any better at Baylor. They did recruit pretty well, but I was really surprised at just how bad they were last year. But for Ole Miss, they still recruited well. But I mean, people were jumping ship. They're under NCAA investigation, and then they got hit pretty hard by the NCAA. So I don't know. Do you think the 2019 recruiting class is as legit as it's hyped up to be? At first glance, in Arkansas, classes are always top heavy, right? You'll have 8, maybe 12 if you're lucky. In the state of Arkansas, you might have. Let me rephrase that. 6 to maybe 10 SEC worthy players in the state of Arkansas every year on average. Now, there have been years where, guys where it ended up being a greater number. But overall, if you look at 24/7, ESPN, Rivals, even Scout, when it was a thing, there's not a whole lot of D1 talent, and it's always top heavy. You've always got 3 or 4 guys. This year, it's pretty thick. That top 10 is actually pretty impressive. Who was it? I just had that up here. Zach Williams out of Joe T. Robinson out of Little Rock is getting offers left and right. He's getting offers left and right. I think he just got a who was it? Georgia that just offered him. He's got offers from Bama, Florida, Georgia, I think Tennessee. I think Texas is interested. I don't know if they've offered yet. Like half the SEC has offered this kid, and he's barely ranked. He's a 3-star. I shouldn't say barely ranked. He's the number 6 player according to 24/7. But they just got Malik Chavis out of Rising, Arkansas. You've got Hudson Henry, who some think might be better, who might have a higher ceiling than Hunter. That's a stretch because Hunter Henry is an all-pro caliber NFL tight end. Treylon Burks out of Warren, nothing new out of Warren. They put out great talent. I don't know what it is with them and wideouts and tight ends, but Treylon Burks, there's 24/7. I think it was Otis Kirk. Someone said him and Henry both could end up being 5 stars. I mean, on any recruiting site, how often do Razorbacks get 5 stars? Again, it could be another top heavy class, but I do think the top 10 in this class are, I think they could be something pretty special. Where are we? Let's see. Okay, we're good. We're caught up with the comments. Recruiting class looks pretty special. Who knows? They could all be overrated. Remember Darius Winston, 5-star corner, didn't even end up playing until his senior year, and even his senior year he didn't start. Who was it that took his job? It looked like he was going to start, and then some freshman came in and took his position. Was that Tevin Mitchell? Somebody came in and took his job. Or maybe that was another year. Yeah, but I do think recruiting class is something special. Keep an eye on these guys. Andrew Hayes at corner, 5'11", 6 foot, kid out of Bryant, Arkansas. He's a 3-star, a little undersized, 5'11", 165 pounds. But I do think, right now, according to 24/7, and we're not even in the summer yet, it'll grow. It'll be bigger. The class will. But right now, there's 19 players that are D1 worthy, and 4 of them are 4 stars. 2 of them might possibly wind up being 5 stars. You've got Darius Jones. Boy, they got to land both those tackles, Darius Jones and Stacey Wilkins. And I'd also like to see him get that Drew West kid out of Searcy, Arkansas, too, 6'6", 300-pounder. So, yeah, there's. I think this class is pretty good. I really do. I think it's probably the best in-state class they've had in a few years. Good question. Who is the last 5-star out of Arkansas? Lee Zimba. Who is the last 5-star out of Arkansas? Oh, man. Frazier wasn't a 5-star. Kid out of Harbor that went to Bama. Who was the last 5-star? Sosa Agim I think he was a 5-star on ESPN. So if you're asking on any recruiting site, I guess it would have been Sosa Agim. But I used to never give ESPN any real credit. I used to never, because I always thought they were way off. They've gotten better. I hate that almost all the good information is in their insider news. I hate that about ESPN. You have to be an ESPN insider to get the good stuff. But I mean, everyone's like that. You got Rivals who you got to pay to read, and Otis Kirk over at 24/7. Yeah, Alex Collins wasn't from Arkansas. Alex Collins was out of Florida. I think he was a 5-star according to 24/7. I think he was. Rivals, I think he was not. But yeah, he was from Florida. What running back on this roster was also from Florida? First one to get it right gets a high five. Currently on the roster, someone will get this. Someone will get this. I want to say thank you, guys. 22 of you in here. I think at one point we're closing in on 30. Chase Hayden, he's from Tennessee. What part of Tennessee? I couldn't tell you. Malik Williams, ding, 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 ding. That is correct. Malik Williams. Malik, who has looked good. Again, this is 3 scrimmages in a row. I think he's going to lead in total yardage between him and I don't know if he or DeWall, but the last 2 scrimmages, Malik has looked really good. It's going to be hard to keep Malik and DeWall. Like, I hope we see some packages where we see both of them, and I'm sure we will. That's the good thing about this offense. There's all sorts of things you can do. You can play around a little bit more out of this set. And if you notice, it's funny. Arkansas's some of their best moments last year, and maybe it was against Bama, is when they went high tempo. Imagine that. What have you heard or seen of Rakeem Boyd? Is he on campus yet? I don't know. I don't think Rakeem is on campus yet. I could be wrong. Maybe someone else will know. I don't think he's on campus. Rakeem, you're right. I keep forgetting about Rakeem. Rakeem, if he comes in and he gets the offense and he understands the playbook, I think there's a good chance he's going to get some play time. Chad Morris told him he's going to come in and get some heavy playing time. So I think eventually as the year goes on, he is going to be a name. He could be a star. Who knows? I mean, he was highly recruited out of Texas. But I don't think he's on campus yet. He looked good last year before he got hurt. Yeah, DeWall, and I'm not going to lie. I got someone pretty upset in the comment section when I made a comment about DeWall. DeWall Whaley, the first – again, I think it was the first 6 SEC games. The guy barely averaged 3 yards a carry. Now, he racked up a bunch of touchdowns because, Brett Bielema liked giving him the ball inside the 5. But he didn't have a whole lot of long sprints last year. He didn't have a lot of those long runs. And I think it is a combination of the fact that he gained weight and the offensive line was just terrible. But let's not forget, the year before last, it was just as bad, maybe worse. Do you think we have a chance at Grant Gunnell? No. I don't. It seems like the harder we try, it doesn't sound like he's interested. I think it's going to come down to, I don't know. I was surprised when he decommitted from A&M. Well, not entirely, because I guess him and Jimbo Fisher, he's not a real big fan of Fisher's style. But I don't think he winds up. I I think he winds up probably in the Big 12. And that's fine because I don't want to play against him. Grant Gunnell is a I think Grant Gunnell is going to be something special. The offensive line was tragic for the last 2 years. It was terrible. Offensive line. I mean, you could say that the offensive line had a lot of held a lot of the responsibility for the last 2 years. Couldn't keep Austin Allen alive. Running backs didn't have gaps and holes to run through like you would expect in a Brett Bielema offense. It was really disappointing. But wow, hour and 7 minutes. I really did not think we would go this long. I think it's about time to start wrapping this bad boy up. If you guys have any more questions, please feel free. We're gonna slow it down. I want to thank you guys so much. I didn't really what did I put out like one video where I was like, hey, we're gonna go live. I didn't post it on Twitter. I posted on Facebook today. So and I think again we got up to close to 30 people. But thank you guys. I have been on the channel. I'm getting that content out, baby. We're getting 3 videos out a week, and I'm really proud of that. I want to keep that up, but it's going to be a challenge this summer to keep that up because I may have to work. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Let's see. There's all-purpose back looking at Arkansas, but I can't think of his name. Do you think he's legit? Arkansas Wolf says you should do this more. Live chat after games would be really cool. I've thought about that. I'm not going to lie. I've thought about that, but predicting that Arkansas is going to be pretty bad next year. There's going to be a lot of early games, so maybe I'll have the opportunity. The downside is that I have a second job, and it's the reason why I don't put as many videos out is because I have a second job on the weekends. I never talk about it. You know, I don't say what I do, but I do have a second job. I drive Uber on the weekends. I drive the crap out of Uber on the weekends. So I can keep – the reason why I do that obviously is to help pay bills, but also to set some money aside to keep doing this, paying for, software. I need a new camera. I don't like this camera. I'll be honest. It's not what I thought it was when I ordered it. It's one of those Logitech, what is it, C310s. So I've got to drive Uber to keep this thing afloat. I do have – someone had asked me if I have a Discord. If you guys are familiar with what a Discord is, I do actually have a Discord. If you want to be in on it, hit me up. I'll send you the link, whatever, and you can join the Discord. If you don't know what a Discord is, it's actually really cool, especially if you play games. I play games. I used to live stream on Twitch every once in a while. I've been playing Far Cry 5 lately. It's fun. It is really fun. I'm having a blast with it. But great job, keep up with the work. Thank you, Jerome. You're the man. I appreciate it. I use Discord a lot. Arkansas Wolf, hit me up, dude. I'll send you a link. Follow me on Twitter at Tyzilla83. I was told I need to add a Patreon. I need to add my PayPal. I need to get all this stuff going. So I have those things up. I have a PayPal if you guys want to throw. I think of it as like a tip jar. I have a PayPal. I have a Patreon, $4 a month. I do not hide anything that I do behind a paywall. Everything you get is here. I might eventually add some benefits to the Patreon. I don't really know. If you're not real sure what it is, go click on the banner. I'm not a real big fan of asking for donations, but if you guys, hey, if you want to throw a little bit in the tip jar, that'd be wonderful. If not, don't feel obligated at all. I love doing this. I love talking with you guys and talking Arkansas sports. Like I like to say, one day I want to be on radio. Hopefully, I'm still here, but I also want to be on the radio. I get a kick out of talking Razorback sports. But you guys, you're really cool. What's your Twitch? It's Tyzilla83. Tyzilla83 across the board. I'm not really on Twitch anymore. I may transition to YouTube, but yeah. Far Cry 5 looks really fun. It is. It is so fun. As soon as we're done here, I'm gonna go drive Uber tonight, but I'm probably gonna fire up some Far Cry 5 before I do. Yeah, Twitch is it's Tyzilla83. You should be able to find me. But again, thank you guys. Man, this was fun. Hour and 11 minutes. So fun. I really do. I appreciate you guys coming through and liking. We got 15 or 11 likes. That's awesome. I think we had a couple of shares. I didn't see if we did or not. I think we got a couple of shares. But again, overall, my last final thoughts on the scrimmage, it's hard to take a lot away. It's hard to tell, are the receivers just bad? Are the corners better? Are the corners bad? It's always difficult to take away, but what I will say is I thought the defense looked faster. They swarmed faster. They got better. They got faster to the ball. I thought Cole Kelly may have established himself as the starting quarterback for better or for worse. We'll have to wait and see. Overall, I thought, you got what you'd expect out of a scrimmage, but it was, it was good to watch some football. I don't know about you guys, but that was awesome. I was afraid I wasn't going to be able to watch it, so I started a free 7-day account on Sling TV just so I could, because I knew I was going to do the live show, and I forgot to redo my Sling TV. But fortunately, I didn't have to do that. So, too early to tell anything. That is true. Let's hope for a bowl season. That's all, and I think that's a win. That's where I'm at with this team. I think they can win 6. I think their ceiling may be, if these new guys come in and contribute, their ceiling could be higher than 6 wins. I think they could be, but I think 6 wins is an absolute win. Getting to a bowl season or getting to a bowl game would be huge for this team, moving forward. So that's going to be it. I want to thank you guys again so much. I appreciate it. We may do more of these. I don't know. I'm going to wait on the feedback. We're going to see how it all goes, but I may start doing more of these. I've got people trying to talk me into streaming, playing video games again. And if I do it, I'll probably do it here, not on Twitch. I may be done with Twitch. I don't know just yet. But again, thank you guys. And I'll have a video out for you Monday, Wednesday, and Friday this next week. You guys have a good rest of your weekend. Don't forget, if you haven't already, subscribe, like, share the content. We'll see you guys around. Thanks, Arkansas Wolf. I see you out here. Thanks a lot, guys.